Hello and welcome to Broadcast.gg's coverage of the European Open Division, Season 3. No, Season 3, yes. And here we are. My name is Sabriel Maston. I will be your host today. And I am joined by the amazing Pausable and Lofty. Pausable, hello. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm ready for some great Overwatch.
And Lofty, how about you? How are you feeling this morning or afternoon?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good, and it is definitely the early morning, but I'm excited to see what the Open Division teams can bring out today.
Yes, excellent. And speaking of teams, today's games this morning, today we have starting out with Moon's Tigers versus Shu's Money Crew. Now, both these teams do have some history together, especially Shu's Money Crew. And Pausable, tell us a little bit about Shu's Money Crew.
Well, Shu's Money Crew look like one of the strongest teams possibly in the Open Division unit for Europe right now. They have two prior contenders players, both Trispear and Kolsty. Trispear leading and captaining the team, and their average SR is about 4,400, so it's well up in the Grandmaster range, nearing that top 500. So they're a team to fear, to be certain.
Lofty, we have a kind of an underdog in Moon's Tigers. What can you tell us about them today?
So, coming in as the underdog, on paper, it looks like Moon's Tigers is going to have their work cut out for them today. They are, but what they make up for is in team synergy. They've been together for longer. A lot of them are friends in real life, so we'll see what kind of comes up ahead. It's going to be pure mechanical skill and experience in higher level competitions such as contenders, or will the synergy, real life friendships and bonds of this team that's coming up against them take the win today?
Well, that's a very viable point too. On the team sheet they've given us, I'd like to point out one quick thing from Moon's Tigers. One of their members, Selyaz, is supposedly, quote, the most positive guy in the entire universe. And it's actually a thing we don't really talk about a lot, but morale advantage is a real thing. When you have such a positive player on your team, it can make your team untiltable. So if they win one or two team fights that they probably shouldn't have won, they might be able to snowball that if Shu's Money Crew ends up tilting some.
And so that would definitely be interesting to see. You're right, we don't see that very much at all. And so we don't usually get that side of, in Open Division, we don't really get to see that side of the teams, because usually we just kind of throw them in there and see how they go. And being able to possibly see these this positivity actually take hold will be great. Lofty, anything else you want to add about today's games?
Well, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how Moon's Tigers has prepared for this team. Whether they've done research on their opponents or not, I'm sure they've looked up one or two names. I'm sure they've looked up the Battlefly to check the records of the team. So I'm going to be very interested to see how they will go about preparing for a team that is supposedly, at least on paper, better than they are. And I'm sure they've gotten out in the Open Division. They've beaten teams before that are probably on paper higher than them as well. So I want to see what their approach is when they tackle these types of teams.
Plausible. We have Shu's Money Crew here on the screen right now, and it's kind of scary seeing two people who've been up in the contenders region.
Undoubtedly. I actually got to see Kolsty play when I was over in Europe over the summer. I got to catch a lot of those contenders matches. Really good on that main tank role all around. His Orisa, especially when I watched, was pretty scary on that Nepal map, and that is in the map pool. I don't remember off the top of my head if it's I believe it's Moon's Tigers who get to pick the map. I could be wrong about that. But if they do, we might end up going over to Lijiang just so they can avoid that pick coming out from Kolsty.
For sure. I can't wait to see this play. It's all the hype, all the talk that we've been talking about, and seeing if they can actually pull through on all these great plays that we have in store for us. So we're heading into, I think, Nepal first. And Lofty, anything you'd like to see out of our teams today?
Okay, so we're heading over to Nepal. Now this is going to be, we have to pay very close attention to the individual plays when we come up on maps like Nepal, Lijiang Tower control maps, essentially. This is the best time for teams to gauge the mechanical skills of each of the opposing players. And so what will happen is that, well, what I hope will happen is that regardless of the outcome, Moon's Tigers uses the information they get from the individual skill of the other team to sort of make adjustments to the rest of their maps. Who do we have to focus down? Who's giving us the most problems? Who is going to be the main, I guess, center of attention for how they build their plans moving forward? And for Shu's Money Crew, I guess it's just an opportunity to kind of flex that 4,400 stat marker and see what they can do, what they can do to prove that they need to continue to win on. They proving that they are the ones who will continue to take map after map off the teams in the open division.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And Plausible, anything you'd like to add?
Well, since he was talking about flexing, I'd actually like to speak about the nature of Nepal itself. Each stage of Nepal sees very variable play in what's generally considered meta there. So it is a great map to see what kind of versatility each team takes, especially in their DPS and tank roles. So I'm really looking toward that. If Moon's Tigers can prove that they're more versatile, they may be able to give us an upset.
Oh, I hope, absolutely. I hope so. I hope so. I know recently I've seen a lot of play here on Nepal, and we got some really good Lucio boops. I'm just a fan of those in general. So I was kind of hoping, kind of meta thing, huge overhead thing I want to see here. And now we are going to kick it over to our casters. Today we have Bemi and Beatdown Boulevard. And Bemi, take it away.
Thank you very much, Sabriel. It is so exciting. Beatdown. If I told you we were going to have some contender level playstyles coming up in this game, would you call me a liar? Maybe.
Sorry about that. Nope, sorry about that. But no, Bemi, you're a trustworthy guy. I may doubt a little bit, but you know, open division.
That's fair.
It's good.
Well, I am not lying. We do have some people from the original Overwatch contender squad of That's a Disband, and they've also been in part of some other stuff. We have Colsty from Movie Star Raiders, and then we also have Trispear from Bazooka Puppy. So this is going to be very exciting. Looking at Shu's Money Crew, we're going to see probably a lot of potential dive compositions, or very much a unique style of 2-2-2 compositions as well, with maybe one sniper DPS and a flanking DPS as well, which seems to be sort of the required sort of composition nowadays, especially with the fact that you want to just overwhelm that sniper, because if an uncontested sniper, if there's a sniper uncontested, it is going to be absolutely overwhelming.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But it varies on the map. Like, for example, on this first map, we aren't going to see... We aren't likely going to see anything really here in that regard. Both teams are running really tank-heavy composition. Actually, both teams are running...
Oh my god!
Triple tank, triple support. So it's really just going to be about who can win that Rhine battle, and that's pretty much what leads you into winning against these kind of team comps.
Absolutely. We're about to see how these Reinhardts go down. It is Ghost going on, and it looks like we're going to see maybe a little bit of the waiting game coming in from Moon Tigers. They're kind of, I guess, going to let them have the point or something. No, they're about to just jump in right there. And like you said, the Reinhardts are about to go down. There's a great stun onto Celios, and that might be a little overwhelming to them. They are not getting split up, though. Colsey does find the kill onto Jig, and that is going to be absolutely devastating, especially with a boop coming in from Izzy. There's the D-Mech, and the team is about to go down. We do see, unfortunately, Colsey going down, but that doesn't seem to be matter. They do turn the point around, and I guess the waiting game is not going to come into play.
Yeah, no. I guess the flank and surprise didn't really work out for them, unfortunately. So Shoes is going to take the first point. They already have to rally this next fight, so there's already a bit of issues for Moon's Tiger. They have to get through all of that armor and the sound barrier that they're about to have. And look at Moon's Tiger. They're only at 40%, so especially in the support ult category, they're behind.
They are behind, but I do like these hero switches. They are about to go in, but Barbie does find Celios right off the bat, and that's unfortunate. They do find the Ray. This is great from Barbie to get the double kill, and the rest of the team is going to be able to follow up on that. Getting the D-Mech onto D.Va is going to be absolutely crazy, and unfortunately, this Junkrat, while I like the idea of overwhelming firepower, is just not going to come out to play. Coming from the high ground is not going to be at their advantage.
No, not particularly, but I think what they need to do is he needs to separate himself from the team just a little more, lob some balls from the high ground, but oh wow, looks like they're going to get a
Yeah, absolutely. Dropping that Earth Shower very close to spawn. Interesting call, but it does allow them to follow up. Drop the Coalescence as well. I think that might be a little bit greedy if you don't mind me saying.
Actually, I just don't think that Moon Tigers were expecting it. So it was a really good way to catch them on guard, guarantee a fight win with 2 ults. So this is still pretty good for them. They have 3 ults into the next fight, especially that Graviton Surge is going to come big, but they got to dodge this tire coming from Jigred.
Yeah, they gotta be very, very careful. Oh no! That is the opposite of dodging. That's gonna be able to get a double kill. That might be able to at least win them the team fight if they could get a good Diva Bomb zoning in, coming in from Pample, and they might be able to do that. They're doing great time right now. They do take out the Brigitte, and I think this Goats is finally gonna fall back, but it's at least done its job at reaching 99%. The point does over. Let's see that tire again.
Yeah, huge play there from the Junkrat. Now, it pretty much guaranteed them the fight win, but it's really difficult for them. They have such an ult disadvantage, and now in this next fight, they can't lose it.
Oh my god, you're absolutely right. There's a grab. There's an Earthshower coming in, though. It's going to be able to retaliate. The Diva Bomb's going to be able to zone out the team. It is going to find at least Tri-Sphere, but the rest of the team is going to be slowly going down. They need to make up time, but the Rift Tire coming back again. Gets Seal. Keeps this even. Steven right now gets the pin on to Jig right there, though, from Colstein. Nicely done. And this Goats might be able to turn this back around, but they got to be making good time. Zeal switching on over to the 76 is going to help out a lot. And we're just going to see probably this sort of contesting fight going on for just a little bit longer. Mouse does find Ray. It is very low ceiling for the Pharah. Gotta be careful. Drops the Earthshower. Does find the Wrecking Ball and Reinhardt. Zeal's able to follow up with that thanks to the Helix Rocket and the amount of damage that 76 is able to do. They get the res! Oh my god. Ayatsu is able to call out a great res off on top of that, but it's unfortunately not going to be enough. The Wick is going to go down. The hero switches have happened, and the first map is most likely, after this Lucio is done contesting, going to go to the side of Shoe Money.
That's right. Shoes Money set themselves up really well throughout that whole round, just taking the fight over and over again, leading themselves to a 99-0. Yeah, they lost the point, but they had 4 ults right after that, so they knew all they had to do is win one fight. They literally just threw their entire ult bank at the enemy. It didn't entirely flip the point, but it threw Moon's Tigers completely on the back foot, and they, at that point, were just strangling 1 or 2 people getting back to the point and at a time, and all it really did was just delay the inevitable, which was the round loss.
Yeah, it was a very interesting back and forth, and like I was expecting them to sort of just go, okay, well, you know, Goats had its run. We're sort of, you know, done now, because once you kind of lose with Goats, you sort of lose that tempo, because it's a very momentum building kind of hero roster. But looking at here, we're going to see Dive going up against a standard pull port combination, which is going to be the Orisa Roadhog with the double sniper DPS. I like this a lot. It does cover a lot of ground, but you just got to be careful that the Ray is not going to overwhelm them. They are going to go back and forth. Do they get Mouse at initial pick? No, but they do have Tri-Spear going in with a great hook, and they get Ray. The snipers are safe, and Mouse is going to be able to get demeched thanks to Colstein. Unfortunately, no healing is going to be close enough for Ayatsu to just be able to keep that mech alive, and that's going to allow them to win the team fight, because unfortunately when you have a demech tank and there's only one main tank and the rest of the team is gone, it's not going to give you much in the way of favoring.
No, absolutely not, Bemi. And Shoes Money Crew picking the Brigitte was just a top-notch pick here. It's really giving Moon's Tiger a lot of problems with the dive because of all that CC. Your Winston jumps in before he can really do anything. He is bashed, can't move, and gets bursted down, and they just keep doing that over and over. But it looks like Moon's Tiger is going to try again with this rotation.
They are going to go at it again, but they are sticking together as a group. Celios will go ahead and just sort of switch around, see if they can get the flank. The Dragon Strike is going to come in, and it does find Ayatsu. Is actually going to find a couple of kills help with Barbie, and that's going to be great, but there is some kills coming in for the favor of Tigers, but unfortunately, the Tigers are going to lose quite a couple of members, but there is Ray going to be able to overwhelm Mouse taking out the sniper, but it's just not working out, unfortunately.
No, I think they got to work on their target selection. They start off really good, but then they kind of split off and start going off for their own different targets. That's exactly how they get picked off. Now they have some ult. Jigrig, especially with the pulse bomb, he's going to need to come so big with that. Maybe Pamplemousse could get at least some kill with this Diva Bomb, but they got to do something here.
I think they can do it. There is the pulse bomb coming on, but no! Jig is going to get a mace to the face because of that, and that's very unfortunate, but they are not going to be able to turn tied right there. There is a whole hug coming in, but Ray with the Dragon Blade gets the dash, takes out two of the members of Shoe Money, and Zeal is about to go down, but they manage to wall climb back up. Celios will go down, unfortunately, and Pample will be the last team standing. This is very unfortunate. 15 seconds left on the clock, and they are taking this fight to spawn quite well.
Yeah, an unfortunate stagger. They still have both of their support ult. There's a good chance Blue Tiger can get through this. They need to start with the sound barrier and try to get some kind of kill off of it.
They certainly can do that. Pablo, no! After using dash, they are not going to be able to make it out back up, and that's a great hook. That's very unfortunate. There's the sound barrier coming out, but it doesn't find too many targets. There's the Helix Rocket onto Jig, and Mouse is going to go on a tear. It's going to get a triple kill, and oh my gosh, you are able to res this, but there's not many team members left. Sneeze is going to go down, bless you, and that is going to be almost it. The Wick is about to go down, the Mercy goes down, and that is going to be a solid 2-0 for Shoe Money to take this map.
Very dominant showing here for Shoes Money. Just you can tell their team play is so good. Like they know exactly what they're doing. Like they have these strategies that are obvious. They must be pre-planned. You know, if something is not working, they have a backup swap. You know, they have their emergency picks and stuff like that when they need to get back to the point. It's really good.
It is absolutely amazing, and especially the hero switches. The timing on those was great. The fact that sort of Zeal was switching on over to the 76 at such an appropriate and crucial time where it was just the last few seconds, the overwhelming firepower that it provides and the radiant healing that 76 can bring is very good in very situational moments. And I'm glad that, you know, Shoe Money was able to sort of utilize and see the bigger picture, if you will. But Moon Tigers still given a fight.
Yeah, no, they're definitely they weren't ghosts in this series. They had some good pushes. They had some you know, flickers of something. They just need to work on the target selection a little bit. They need to tighten up their coordination and not split up, you know, when things get heated, because that's exactly when you need to stay together. And that's pretty much their biggest issue right now. But it's still only the first map. They definitely have the chance to turn it around as we go to Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Watchpoint Gibraltar. Well, seeing that Moons did try to run a dive, if you will, it seems like the dive might be able to work very well in Gibraltar, and that could be effective for them. As you know, because normally what we see nowadays from Gibraltar is the dive versus the counter dive, and it looked like Moons Tigers is definitely in their element when it comes to the dive. So I'm excited to see this maybe going in their favor, making it tied up 1-1.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, but you still got to keep in mind, Shoes has shown that they're capable of running the double snipers. Snipers are very good here on Watchpoint Gibraltar, with the long sight lines, a lot of places, a lot of varying high grounds. So basically, it's gonna be it's probably gonna end up being a battle of snipers. I think. I'm not too sure just yet if Moons Tigers has anybody who can contest snipers of Shoes Money, but that may be the route they want to go.
Well, we didn't see many snipers in the way of that dive because I believe they were also running a Sombra as well to get some health pack hacks, but maybe we might see a switch up of DPS. It looks like potentially we are going to see maybe Shoe Money may be going for what looks like maybe one sniper, one flanking DPS, and we're going to see the counter dive coming in potentially from the side of Moon Tigers. So maybe that might be beneficial for them. They do have the Genji, and I do like the Sombra pick as well. It is not unorthodox or not a foreign concept.
No, definitely not. And the Sombra pick actually might be really good against this dive because these are all, when you play these kinds of dive characters, obviously everyone in Overwatch is, you know, lives or die by their abilities, but particularly here, if you can get the hack onto a diva who's diving your support, they basically become a potato. And if you can land good enough EMPs, it's really good. It's a really good way to shut down the enemy dive as well, because they're all gonna be in one area. Nobody's gonna be far in the back and unaffected by it.
Absolutely, and we're going to be expecting that high ground fight probably to initiate, but there is a little more of aggression coming in from Moon Tigers. Going to go on the bridge as opposed to just waiting on that elbow, and there's an unfortunate Celios is not going to be able to get a proper jump onto bridge and overwhelm them. They do drop the bubble onto payload, and they're actually jumping right in here. Moon Tigers going to take this fight, and they actually get Ayatsu, which is brilliant. They are going to try to hold on to it. Barbie's got to be careful not to be demech. That is going to be so crucial. Mouse does have that hack going on. Tri-Spear getting onto Ray. That's going to be great. Barbie's able to get onto that. Mouse was able to get the hack off, and that's going to be great for them. And already this is looking like a very solid team fight for Moon Tigers. Bringing in the aggression was apparently a beneficial play for them. I've never seen this before.
Yeah, definitely a little unorthodox holding right up to spawn, but still really good positioning from Shoes as well. You saw Izzy's HP got really low, and losing your Mercy that early while spawn camping can be really dangerous, but the team was positioned so that Izzy always has an escape route.
So good on to Izzy. Shoes money coming into play. Public apology for that color mix-up. But there is a Dragon Blade coming in from Zeal, and they are going to be able to follow up on this. Getting a double kill. Oh my god, with Colsey, the splash damage, and then the focus damage coming in. It is a one-punch combo. And they're holding this at spawn so well. I have not seen this in such a long time. This is bringing me back in the days.
Yeah, and the worst thing is they're doing it so well. Moon Tiger is having trouble building ultimates right now. You know, they're halfway to most of their ults still after the second fight. The only one who's close to the Dragon Blade is the Ray, and even then, it's only 75%. He needs to build it soon, and Jigrig needs to go big with this pulse bomb.
Yeah, they need to also be careful of that EMP as well. Mouse getting onto Jig already, so there's no flanking coming in, and there is no pulse bomb benefits coming in from it. Once again, the team fight is just going to be so crazy. Pombo is going to be staggered, and it's 2 minutes still left on the clock. There is a lot that they can do, but they need to do it fast. Ray does have that Dragon Blade. They could do something with that.
Definitely, but still, Moon Tigers might want to consider a swap. I mean, it's pretty clear that like what they're running right now isn't working. But it's just under 2 minutes left. You know, you have time to build ults if you swap, but I don't know why they're sticking to this if it's not going to work.
Maybe it's that thought process of just trying to build ults then and there. They might not think they have enough time with just different switches. Dive is one of the faster ult chargings. There is a hack going on. Oh my god, Ray got hacked before they can drop their Dragon Blade. And that is unfortunate. They dropped the sound barrier to see if they can win. But there's the EMP. Oh my gosh, the Demon Bomb's coming in. It's going to find Ray. It's only to get the kill. They do get the D-Mech on the pommel, but this is already said and done. They are going to be able to push the payload just a little bit further, but not much further at all, as Zeal is going to be able to wipe them out.
Very dominant. Finally, some swaps we're seeing here. We got the Zarya break, Reinhardt. Yeah, they just want to death ball it out. Yeah, they're probably not going to swap to the Moira because Ayatsu just built up the Valkyrie. They're probably hoping to just make use of the chain healing, the chain damage boost, and they got to try and punch their way through here or something.
I am seeing goats right now on Gibraltar. Interesting call. There is a hack going on. They got to be careful about this. Dragon Blade's going to come in. Palmel's already demech. And Zeal is going to show him a kill feed like it's nobody's business, saying, I own this kill feed. The blue is mine. Barbie's going to at least interject a little bit along with Mouse and helping get those hacks. But it's already said and done. Goats of all the hero switches. I guess, you know, when it's crunch time and it's not alt-centric, I suppose that makes sense, but they are going to still keep trying to push on through, but they're already just sort of staggering in. There's the Diva Bomb. The hack is going to come in. The Reinhardt can't drop the shield, and they're going to try. Pommel's not going to be able to get anything, and Zeal is going to be able to actually take them out before they can remech. I'm very unfortunate. They do get the res from Ayatsu, which is great, but there's another Diva Bomb coming its way. Not going to find much there. They do get, however, a pin onto Zeal, and that's going to be great, but that's a great EMP coming in from Mouse. Are they going to be able to follow up upon it? There's the Primal Race. They are going to be able to zone out. Barbie does get D-Mech, though. That is going to be good for the side of Moon Tigers. They are going to finally push this, and the sound barrier is going to allow them to get through Car Wash or into Car Wash a little more easily, and we see coats of all compositions allowing them to push through with overtime. What an uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, Ayatsu a little late to the Moira swap, but yeah, this is now definitely the Ghost comp. It worked out that Shoes blew the Dragon Blade so early. Actually, we're going to see it again, though.
We're seeing it, and it's going to show up big, getting both supports. They only have the Brigitte left, and this is very unfortunate. There's no res coming in. Celios does get that pin, but there's already the damage has been done. They got to hope that all 3 of their tanks along with their solo healers going to be able to stall enough while the rest of the healers come back. They do have the Lucio at spawn, so they could come back at this time, but there's not going to be a lot of healing. The Biotic Grenade is going to make it a little bit harder from Tri-Spear, excuse me. The Eva Bombs are going back and forth. It's going to show up bigger for Pamel as it's going to get a double kill, but there's already Pamel going down before they can remake. That's going to be very devastating. Zeal switching over to the Doomfist, however, and that's going to be even overwhelming as well. It's going to get the flanking, the tank busting. There's an EMP. It's going to stop everything. Then it's a track, and I don't even think they're going to be able to get this last point. They're trying their best, though. The Wrecking Ball switching on over. Will they be able to get it? Jig is trying to do their best with all armor, health, sound barriers, something. Just donate any health. Call 1-800-DONATE right now, but they go down, and there it is. Right there, they are going to be able to push on through. The T-Mech is going to come through. They're going to bring down the Diva. Mouse is just going on a tear, and there's the Wick going down. They are done.
Yeah, done they are. Just through the car wash, not very far at all, but not impossible to hold at the same time. Again, really impressed with Shu's target selection. You see Zeal on the Doomfist. There are 2 supports from Moon's Tigers onto the point in the overtime, but they also saw Shu's Tracer, so they ignored the supports and actually went for the more high-value target in this particular case, because the Tracer can cause a lot more backline trouble. Chances are they could actually one-clip one of your supports. So if you take care of the Tracer and you have 3 or 4 members, 2 supports on your point aren't going to do anything. So that's very smart out of Shu's Money Crew.
Some high IQ level play indeed, beat down. I couldn't agree more. And especially on top of that, it's just so interesting. We should probably talk a little bit about that hero switch. Why, I would really like to try to understand more why GOATS was the thought process and how they were able to push so well with it. And, you know, why was that the case?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. Say it again.
I'm just curious about like why GOATS was the ideal option for that last minute push to at least get through car wash.
Well, I think part of it was that Shoes used the Nano Blade with a little over 30 seconds left, and because of that, for the moment, they actually didn't have any more ultimates, and that's probably the best way their comp could have dealt with the GOATS. You know, the large health pool, so much healing. So that's why the advantage swung to Moon's Tigers very briefly, but as we saw, they built up another Nano Blade just under the car wash, used it, and that's exactly when Moon's Tigers' final stand started to fall apart.
Yeah, very unfortunate, but we'll see how Moon's Tigers stand in the defense position will work out. Hopefully it will be very beneficial. We are going to see them go out against this sort of very similar aggression line. We do see triple DPS going down. So we'll see how that works out. 3-2-1 is an interesting call here, but it may work. This is a very unique, I guess, death ball, if you will, or Miley comp. They are running the Wrecking Ball, and they're just going to push through, and looks like they're going to stay on their ground. They got to be careful of Zeal. Zeal's flanking in the back, and they do get the sleep dart on the Pamel. That was very interesting. Zeal's kind of playing distraction. Colsey does find that kill onto Ray, though. It's very interesting. Zeal's just kind of sort of fighting off and getting the D-Mech on the Pamel? Are you kidding me? And there's only healer there. They do get the healing rocket, and that's going to be a stagger right there. They lost one of their tanks already. There's so much going on. There's a hack going on from Mouse. Does take out Celios' shield. They are just trying to hold on for dear life, but they do go down. Barbie's going to be able to find the snipe and win the sniper duel. On top of all things, Ayatu will be able to take out Tri-Spear, but there's still so much firepower coming in from the side of Shoe Money, and they're working overtime. Barbie with all these picks! Are you kidding me? This is absolutely insane. There is attack visor already coming in from Jig, but they go down. No, I'm sorry, from Zeal, and they do go down, and they're going to be able to reach that point, and that is so fast. Holy smokes.
Holy smokes indeed. That's going to be the second map going to Shoes Tiger. Shoes Money Crew. I keep mixing that up. But, yeah, again, really good play from them. You know, big props to their soldier. He immediately took the best position they could on the high ground. And from that point, they pretty much set up a crossfire that Moon's Tigers just couldn't deal with. You had damage coming from 2 sides, especially one from a high ground position. They should have, I think Moon's Tigers should have considered placing their soldier in that similar position. So 1, they could contest Shoes, and 2, upon winning that contention, they could offer that sort of multi-level attack. And when I say level, I mean like height-wise.
Fair enough. And it was certainly a very exhilarating match. And well done to also Barbie being able to get those picks as well. That was pretty much sort of the final nail in the coffin, if you will. A very unique hero composition. We don't see the Miley composition, as a lot of people call it, often, but it worked out this time. And I think we need to make a little more sense of this and take in what we just saw. So we're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute break, and then we're going to bring you with halftime. So we'll see you guys very soon. Good. We're actually we're going to see you guys right now. We're going to throw it over to the wonderful band known as Sabriel and the Analysts.
Thank you so much, Bemi. I really like this band name. I can go for it here. Now I just need to learn how to play an instrument. So we saw some great play out of Shoes Money Crew. I've been impressed with them immensely. But I kind of want to talk a little bit about what we've seen so far. And Plausible, we saw an interesting start to Nepal's Shrine. We had goats versus goats.
Interesting as a word. Annoying is also a word that one analyst might use. But yeah, you know, we saw goats versus goats. The Tigers tried to do that interesting rotation off to their right side of the point up the stairwell. It didn't end up working out for them because they didn't really play to the strengths of the goats comp, whereas Shoes Money Crew, they ran straight onto the point. They had a lot of close quarters. They had a nice barrier set up by the Reinhardt shield, and they were just able to roll through, and they basically kept control the entire time. Gave up like I think 30% on Shrine, but honestly, it was still pretty dominant for Money Crew.
Yeah, Lofty, did you see anything you liked out of Tigers in that first map here?
Well, actually, so I love the opening up with those odd rotations, taking their time, patiently waiting, seeing how they want to approach the situation. This is what I like to see from teams who, you know, they know they might have a significant disadvantage, so the only way to sort of take these opportunities against their opponents are by surprise. And so I really like the opening from the Tigers, but unfortunately they just couldn't hold on to the momentum against the front line of the Money Crew, and they just ended up losing cohesiveness and getting shut down in that regard. And from then on, at least on map 1 on Shrine, it was just a series of momentum or problem with momentum as the ultimates just kept going in the way of the Money Crew.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
That's what happens in these goats compositions, right? You win one fight and then suddenly you win 4 just because you had an ult advantage.
Exactly.
Yeah, that momentum can be extremely important, and when you just can't get that, when you can't build it up, or once you lose it, things can just go downhill real quick. Now, over at the Sanctum, Lofty, I think Barbecue is doing pretty well over here on the Diva. Anything you want to talk about there?
So Barbecue, I have to commend. I'm going to talk a bit about the Tigers. First of all, in regards to this, because one of the problems that they had running Dive in Sanctum is that the front line and the DPS are kind of not on the same page. We see a lot of the times their Winston coming in and the DPS kind of lagging behind. That could happen when you don't properly set up your Tracer Genji early before your Winston takes the dive. Now, in saying that, when they did show signs of good cohesion and when the DPS were in the same area as the main tank, I want to commend Barbecue on the Brig for being able to consistently shut them down. We get a lot of one-shot combos onto their Tracer, and a lot of the times even shutting down Genji in the middle of their Blade after picking up 2 to sort of keep the momentum at bay. And so I really have to commend Barbecue on his performance there on Sanctum.
Something I want to this next question here kind of melds the two maps together here, because we jumped to Gibraltar here. One more kind of final thought here. We saw some dive by Tigers that maybe not was working out too well. Plausible, is there anything you want to speak on?
You know, I think it was interesting because we saw the dive coming out on Sanctum, which is traditionally a map where the meta is anti-dive. So I'm not quite sure what the train of thought was for Sanctum. Originally, I thought it was a comfort pick, but then when they go on to Gibraltar, which is a very dive-oriented map, they don't seem to be that comfortable on dive. They were able to, they were taken advantage of right out the spawn doors. Shoes Money Crew showing a great control of that tempo. They know, just like Lofty was saying, that the other team, that Moon's Tigers is trying to observe them, trying to find weaknesses. They don't give them that chance. They just jump on them immediately and roll through them. Honestly, just a brilliant showing of teamwork here from Money Crew.
All right, we're heading over into Anubis. Any last words here, Lofty, you want to add to it?
Well, no matter what composition they run, I really want to see the Tigers take it back here. I want to see more decisiveness in their front line and DPS synergy. It is taking its toll on the supports as well, not being able to follow up on the front line cohesion. And so I really want to see that synergy that we were talking about built up from playing for over a year with each other. I really want to see that come through and possibly take us the whole way.
And Possible, anything you would like to add before we get going here?
I honestly think that at this point, if you're Tigers, you come out swinging with some weirdness, right? It's Temple of Anubis. We don't often see very weird compositions on this map, but you're down 2 maps. It's been relatively one-sided. You gotta catch them off guard at this point. You bring out some weird comfort pick that they couldn't plan for.
So Anubis here is kind of known for some of the longer maps, and recently I saw on Reddit a team that went 27 rounds. I sure hope we don't see that today. We've seen, like, even in the Overwatch League, I believe it was Seoul Dynasty versus Dallas Fuel, who took 10 rounds, I think, or 8 rounds, something like that. Do you think we might see something like this today, or Lofty, or do you think it just might be kind of normal matchup today?
For our sake, I certainly hope not, but for the sake of the Tigers, I really hope that they bring it to them. Even if they were to end on a, 8-10 round Anubis, it would show that they can definitely bring the money, definitely bring the heat, especially against teams of a higher level.
And yeah, I mean, question 27 round was a claim on Reddit. I cannot actually vouch for this, but it's not unheard of. Anubis is a ridiculous map for that.
Oh, I believe it. Because
once one team gets momentum on A, they can just barrel roll right over to B. Plausible. What's some of the crazy things you've seen here on Anubis?
Not too many. I mean, we see sometimes on second point, because it's an assault map. A lot of teams will try and pull out some crazy picks just to stall out time. Anubis is a great map for it because it's undoubtedly one of the closest spawn advantages on point B for the defenders. You'll see a Mei come out, Doomfist. Probably we'll see a Hammond if it gets to that point. All great heroes to stall out the point, and if they get those high impact area controlling ultimates, it might be a good way for the Moon's Tigers to really bring it to Shu's Money Crew and show that they belong at the high levels of this open division.
And they have to take that snowball, right? They have to make sure that they maintain that ultimate momentum going into point B, because what I fear for the Tigers is that if they grab point A and if they maintain that momentum, they bring it to point B and somehow get shut down by the defense of the Money Crew, then through superior ultimate economy, through superior ultimate tracking, and making sure that they keep the momentum in their favor and rotate their resources correctly, I'm scared about Money Crew being able to hold that for as long as they want.
Yeah, you really have to have a decisive victory on a lot of these assault maps for point B to be able to take point B. And we've certainly seen that level of play coming out from Money Crew. We'll see if Tigers can bring it back here.
And I think both of our teams are actually ready now. And we're going to throw it to our casters. Bemi, why don't you take it away again?
And here we go, unmuted. All right, so sorry about that, but it is correct. It is Anubis and a new day for the Tigers, so we will hopefully see some new stuff coming in the wing for them. I am excited. They are a match point for the side of Shoe Money, but they are not out the Tigers.
No, definitely not. Moon's Tigers still has a chance to turn this around here. Anubis is a place they could really do it. Like you were saying before, Dive is a comp that they like to play. Dive is definitely a viable composition here. Even the 3-3 tank support composition is pretty viable. It works really well. It's a lot of frontline damage, and you can help you win fights quickly, which is exactly what you need, because you need to capture the point, especially on assault. You need to win the fight very quickly because it's very easy for them to stall it out and prevent the actual capture.
Absolutely, and on top of that, I do like the versatility in dive. It is going to be very much a Swiss Army knife in this map. You do have that Genji and Jig to overwhelm the Widow if they go on attack. You do have the ability to sort of retreat to the back point of point A in case you have to contest it real quick, so you're able to get there very, very quickly and regroup with the rest of the team. But we'll see how this goes. We do want to make sure that Barbie doesn't get overwhelmed or DMAC. They are going to need that Matrix to come into play a little bit just so they don't get overwhelmed. They're at the high ground right now. They are going a long way, and they did kind of see this coming, and hopefully they won't get going down really quick. They do get the DMAC onto Bolt, so that's good. Colsey gets that kill, followed up, so that's going to be great. The dive, unfortunately, not working out. Barbie does find the kill onto Ray, but Shoe Money already having a little bit of an easy time. They do get the sleep dart into Celios. Sneeze does find Tri-Spear after that sleep dart, so that might be, you know, sort of the turning the tides of the war, but they gotta contest this very quickly. They are already built. Shoe Money is already building up the marker right there. There's the first take. They do wrap it up, and it's all right. It is a very... Oh, actually, hold on. There's gonna be the that Earth Shatter, and that is actually gonna seal the deal. Fortunately, there is going to be Celios trying to contest as long as they can. Are they going to have the rest of the team fall back, or are they just trying to take out more time? It looks like to be the case. It's okay. The point A on Nubis is infamously hard to hold.
It is, and it looks like they're going to just roll their way right onto the second point. They built almost 4 ults. They're probably going to have the nano boost soon, too. So this is pretty bad if you're Moon Tigers right now.
Yeah, the Ghost is coming into play right now. There's the rally coming in. Gives a lot of armor, and they already take out Ray. Ray was going to be a great opening if they could take them out with a lot of firepower from that Junkrat. They do get the res. That might be beneficial. They can come in. They're already building up so much of the like team fight already. They are gonna have to put a little bit of hard time. Jig does come in with a grab and the sleep dart. It stops them before they can ground pound, and that allows them to get the first mark. Are you kidding me? That's nuts. They're gonna be able to stall this and stop. They get Pamo demacked, and they are not able to touch the point at all. That was the Wrecking Ball was gonna be their saving grace to come back at this again, but they do not get to do that.
Yeah, Shoes very dominating that round, but I think part of it was in the first point. Moon's Tigers dive was extremely passive. They kind of just got into their face and tried to chip damage them away, which is you can't do it like that. You need to dive deep. You need to get into their back line and actually make them uncomfortable. But if you're trying to, you know, use Winston's Tesla cannon and just tickle the Reinhardt, of course they're gonna wreck your team, because there's no way they're uncomfortable. There's not any problem they're actually dealing with. They can out heal the damage, and they can out-damage you as well.
Yeah, and that grab was absolutely crazy as well. I must add on to that. There is just sort of this, you know, the triple tank, triple support. Not every day you see, and I do like the little touch they put on there for their own selves. That Zeal was running the Ana that did allow them a little bit of stun. The sleep darts, the Winston did go down because of that, unfortunately, and that was... just, you know, it was a series of well-played and well-executed things from Shoe Money. The Tigers is not out of this yet. Unfortunately, because they had to go on defense, they now don't need to worry too much about too much pressure. I always feel like going on attack second is a little more relief.
It can be, yeah. It's you kind of, it's good because you can kind of set the bar for what's going to happen, but the bar unfortunately has been set very high. 6 minutes is a lot, but I think all Moon's Tigers needs to worry about is finishing the round, getting both points, and then worry about overtime rounds later. You know, they're running the same kind of composition here. The almost Goats comp, but Ayatsu's on the Ana, like you were saying before. They probably want the Sleep Dart, the Anti-Nade, a lot of good utility there.
Well, they are going to try to give Shoe Money a taste of their own medicine, running the Goats as well. Exact same hero picks as well. So we'll see how this works out for them. Maybe actually the Lucio as opposed to Moira, I don't remember. But here we go. Barbecue's actually going to take out Yatsu, and Jig's already going to go down. Zeal with that flanking Doomfist is going to be very beneficial. And Mouse is going to get the DMAC nicely done. Just going to be a little bit overwhelmed with all these flanking DPSs right now. It's going to take out the Goats. And that's about it. They don't even get a lot of ult charge with that as well.
No, they don't. And I just realized Shoes doesn't even have a main tank right now. They have 3 DPS and a Diva.
Oh my god!
And like it works so well because they use the architecture well, and they hide and they collapse very well. Look what they're doing it again.
Yeah, they are. They're going to be able to find Jig and Yatsu, and that's already 2 of your supports gone. The rest of the team is going to go down. As a play-by-play caster, I can't say much about this.
Yeah, it ends up being over very quickly because they have so much damage. They're coordinated so well that, you know, there's no way Moon's Tigers can actually withstand it. They get the supports first, and that's why they're going to swap to the Far Mercy. Actually, Far Mercy dive makes a lot of sense. There is no hit scan here except for Sombra, who does chip damage. Ooh. That's already a good start.
That is a good opening. Jig does find Mouse as well, so that's one flanking gone. Less to worry about, but Tri-Spear gets the hack into next. Mouse, or Pample Moose, excuse me, as that's going to be a little bit overwhelming. Barbie does find Jig, and already the dive is about to go down very, very quickly. There's just so much flanking. The meteor, oh my god, the meteor strike almost going to be able to take out the Lucio. Sneeze does get away with their lives, but they're all over the place. They've kind of got to just sort of fall back to this sort of back and forth spawn fight. What is going on here? Is he getting Ray? The Valkyrie coming into play, I guess, to just rack up some kills, because I don't know what to say, but yeah, they're sitting pretty right now. 2 minutes left on the clock. All I can say is that Dive does charge ults quickly, and that's one, you know, silver lining to this cloud.
It is. Now Moon's Tigers has a few ults going for them, but I still think the Rays need to focus on Zeal. Zeal's a big problem here on the Doomfist, and he can't do anything against Far, and he's already good. He already got the Sombra, so that's a good start.
That is a good start. So Tri-Spear is going to be one thing, and Pample Loose does get it. So D-Mech Ray gets a second kill, and there we go. The Dragon Blade, though, coming out of nowhere. Mouse is going to be able to take out Ray, but the rest of the team is going to be able to bring them out, and the dive finally coming into play, and they're going to start building up ults. I think they might try to contest this because they are feeling pretty comfortable shoe money to do this. There's the Wrecking Ball coming in, almost gets Z-Mech onto Pample, but it's not going to be enough. They are going to have to fall back, and we are going to see them actually take this point, and we are so happy to see that the Tigers are showing up. Nicely done. However, Barbecue does get Celios, but there's a Diva Bomb coming in. They are going to stop that Wrecking Ball going round and round. And that is just not going to be enough. There is going to be at least sort of Tigers taking this point, at least knowing that they do it within the time bank. Hopefully, Ray does rack up these kills. Nicely done. The Fair in the Sky is helping out a lot. Izzy does take out Ray, but honestly, that's not going to be too much. But wait, hold on. There is already a team comeback coming back. They're able to come back from this. What? The Miley Dive going into play here at the moment. We're just a unique type of dive, and they just held on to this.
They did very well. Shoes would basically just hop in and out of point. Oh, that's such a bad stagger. My goodness. And 15 seconds left, but yeah, Shoes is playing this really well. They're just jumping in and out of the point. Now they're running the Hammond and the Diva main tank. Hammond as the main tank.
Yeah, and they need Ray to just find a good flank. They do find Tri-Spear, but not the rest. A Meteor Strike coming from the heavens, higher than a bird in the sky, apparently. It's going to be able to knock them out, and there's Pamela going down. The rest of the team on Moon Tiger is going to go down. They're just ganging up on everybody one at a time. Good choice in targets. Target prioritization is looking pretty good, and unfortunately, the Wrecking Ball is not going to be fast enough to contest this. This is going to be Shoe Money's series, but the series is not over yet.
Actually, it is over because that was the third map. Shoes Money Crew has taken this one, and now they go. I believe it's 4-0.
4-0. Well, they are very
3-0. Sorry.
Okay. 3-0 is a very dominating score, to say the least. That means undefeated for sure. Honestly, very good stuff to them. They had very good target prioritization that we've spoken about before, that maybe Tigers could do with a little bit, because they did have very proper compositions. They had the right hero picks, but like you said, like we saw back on Nepal, they just had a little bit of a hard time getting there.
Yeah, that is basically the case. And again, I think their target selection was a little lacking in comparison to Shoes, but still, Moon Tiger, a very good showing. And unfortunately, it just wasn't enough this time around.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a difficult uphill battle, and I must say that overall, it was very good to see Shoe Money still being respectful. They were running very interesting comps, and I think maybe that little bit of element of surprise come in here. But to break that down, I think we need some more cold, hard, calculating, analyzing analysts, and a wonderful host to boot as well. And I think we should go ahead and throw it back again at the desk for Sabriel and the analysts.
Well, thank you so much, Bemmy. And I was going to try to find an instrument here on the house show off, but none to find.
I think I have drumsticks somewhere.
I've got
Yeah,
a guitar, so we can really
I have
start
Guitar
something
Hero somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah,
Get
we
that
can
band
start
rolling.
something.
Anyway, wow, Shoes Money Crew coming in like a wrecking ball without wrecking ball. Just dominating their attack here. And we saw some interesting turn of defense here. Lofty, like what was going on here in Shoe Money's crew's like attack round here?
So, what ended up happening here, Shoes Money Crew on the offense, they take a GOATS composition with an Ana. Very, very dangerous close quarter combat. I believe they are kind of pseudo predicting that that the dive is Tiger's go-to. It's their comfort pick, and so playing this particular composition into point A probably seemed like the go-to decision. Now, the Tigers, unfortunately, not necessarily reading the situation correctly, dive into close quarter combat against them immediately when they're backed up into that hallway leading up to the high ground on point A. Now, this is very, very dangerous against the Brigand and Ana. Without having to say much, it's pretty obvious why. And so what I want to see next time from the Tigers, what I would like to see them do is kind of play with their food a little bit. Try to make them uncomfortable. Don't necessarily take a decisive fight against them. Try to make sure that you push them into an uncomfortable position. Let the DPS take on that poke. Give them a bit of space. Even give them a tick if you have to. But try and open up those opportunities against their back line, against their front line, wherever it may be, and then focus on target rotation from there on.
Yeah, for sure. Giving up some ticks can seem like a scary prospect when it can be advantageous for you to just give them a bit of space while you set up your defense. And a lot of teams are scared of doing that, and I understand. Don't want to see that bar turn around. So moving on over to Moon Tigers offense, and Possible. Why can't I say your name all of a sudden, Possible? We saw an interesting setup here by Money Crew for the Moon Tigers offense.
Yeah, it's actually brilliant, right? So Money Crew on their offense run this GOATS with the Ana adaptation instead of the Moira. They rotate around to the close quarters on the right side coming in from the choke point so that they could use that Ana grenade, the biotic grenade, to the full advantage. The Moon Tigers see this and they think, oh, hey, we can do that. That's not that complicated. But Money Crew is not only predicting that Moon Tigers will do that, they know exactly how to counter their own composition that they bring out. They forego the main tank of a very... let's not call it dive, but, you know, they were diving in there with things like the Doomfist and the Diva. But they forego a main tank just to opt for higher damage onto these tanky targets. And it worked out brilliantly.
Absolutely. Like, Lofty, I think you had a note here. Anything you want to add to this?
Oh, yeah. So with the main tank less, I should say, composition that they were going for, they took the same approach that the Tigers did, where they go dive in right off the bat, even in close quarter combat. Now, the difference being is that while Tigers go ahead and dive in with traditional dive into close quarters and get absolutely annihilated, the difference being is that by foregoing the main tank and by taking up a Doomfist instead, it allows them for a level of disruption that actually breaks up the team cohesion of the Tigers, and the Money Crew was able to use that as an advantage. They got collapsed on by the Diva. Any target that was knocked up into the air by their Doomfist was immediately taken advantage of and was easily collapsed on by the rest of the team. And that's how they were able to pick it apart. And I think that was just very, very well played by them, knowing that they can play that dive style into the GOATS if they allow for that opportunity for the Doomfist to get that disruption and to break up the front line, keep them away from the DPS, keep them away from the back line, and pick them off accordingly after that.
I'd have to agree. I'd say the running theme over this entire match would be that it seemed that the Moon Tigers, they wanted to be very comfortable with an aggressive tempo. They were always running in, looking to deal a lot of damage onto that front line. But if anything, Shu's Money Crew was infinitely more comfortable with the aggressive tempo. They were able to capitalize off it more. They showed better discipline in their dive targets and their targeting specifically. They showed better coordination and better compositional strategies.
For sure, for sure. So let's gonna wrap things up here. Lofty, is there anything you'd like to add?
What I did like from the Tigers actually is their decision to go ahead and switch off the GOAT's composition. They figured it wasn't working out. They kind of take the Money Crew by surprise by switching over to their traditional dive, their comfort pick, and having that main tank back into the game against a team that doesn't have a main tank allowed the Tigers to allocate space much easier against a team without a main tank, and it really opened up a lot of room for the Pharah to get to work. Now, unfortunately, as the point was ticking over, they were about 20% away, I would say, from taking point A, but they were completely unprepared for the retake by the Money Crew. And in that area of confusion, in that time space where they weren't expecting it, they weren't prepared for it, they kind of break up their cohesion and they lose on that individual level right after that. And so, really, really good showing by the Tigers, really taking it on point A, almost taking it on point A, but just couldn't edge out that little advantage, all the little advantages that they have, and just fell to the I think defeatless, if that's the word, if that's even a word. The undefeated. That's what I'm looking for. I'm tripping on my own words. The undefeated Money Crew.
That's like when I go out for buffalo wings, I will say I would like bone-full wings instead of boneless. But I honestly did think that Shu's Money Crew was going to give them that point from the overlord view. It certainly seemed like it. And all of a sudden, maybe like the last minute call, or maybe it was the plan the whole time. Like, no, let's hold this, and they did. Any last thoughts from you, Paulsable?
Honestly, if you're an open division player in the European circuit and you're coming up against Shu's Money Crew, I'd say look out, do your homework, be ready. They are terrifying. Yeah, easily contenders level. And
some of them have been, so
exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Keep these folks in mind if you see them up against you here. Oh my goodness. So with that, we're gonna wrap up our first match of the day, and stay tuned for Swedish Domination versus Persia Esports. So Paulsable and Lofty, thank you very much. And you at home, stay tuned.